Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here and taking the time to listen to the future of work, AI Insight. Today, this is episode 2, and I have the privilege to have Frank here with me. So, Frank basically is an accomplished commercial leader with extensive experience in building and leading high-performing sales and marketing teams across the globe with both multinational and SMEs. His commercial leadership spans cross-functional teams management with a solid background in diagnostic, surgical robotics, orthopedics, and diverse medtech portfolio. Frank, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for the invite.
So I know you're very busy, so we will dive in directly straight to the topic. Today we're talking about AI. I know you've been working with giant and very innovative medtech. Um, I did a brief introduction about yourself, but maybe you want to share your evolution in life science industry, working for medtech.
Yes, absolutely. So I started off after my MBA working in China for Mindray, which is a large multinational over there. And that was a very fascinating experience because they were very innovative with what they were coming out with and coming out with new products continuously and really trying to adapt to the way that the industry was going. From there, then I moved on to Johnson and Johnson, working in their blood diagnostics, running the Philippines and then Middle East and Africa, growing that business. Then I moved on to Stryker, covering a breadth of portfolios, and that's when I moved from sales into marketing as the marketing director. And that was actually when robotics was coming into itself, especially in the orthopedic industry. So that was a very exciting time. And then after that, moving on to Smith and Nephew and launching the robotics system in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And then most recently with Medartis as the global commercial director.
Great. And then given that background and experience, what has been the biggest evolution that you have witnessed in your industry, in your department of commercial?
Absolutely. When it comes to sales, I would say it was the use of the CRM system and truly using the CRM system throughout my career the past 15 years. That's really come into its own. And I've launched it at 3 different companies, specifically Salesforce.com. When used correctly and appropriately, it is a big game changer. And
Yes,
with what we're going to be talking about today, they're now adopting AI with the CRM systems as well to help get better leads. So I think it's an evolution of the CRM system that we're seeing with AI today. So I would say that was the biggest game changer. And just like with what we'll be talking about today, AI, I think it took time and still takes time to understand how to truly utilize it to the best capabilities within an organization so you get the best from it.
I see. So just to understand a little bit, because I think it's good to talk about what has been happening before, so people can really understand the shift with what it is now being put in place. So given that time of CRM, what was the biggest challenge that people were facing to go through this shift from no CRM at all to CRM? And then what has been the positive impact of having the CRM?
Okay, so the very first one is both for upper management as well as the sales team to understand its benefits and how to truly utilize it. The first time I implemented CRM was actually in the Philippines when I was the country manager there, and uh, uh, we put in too much. We asked the sales reps to put in too much into the CRM system, so they were spending too much time putting in data versus selling and using it for them.
Yes.
So it's really just and likewise for the sales rep to understand, okay, what do I actually need to put in here for it to be beneficial so that it doesn't just become added work of putting it in to justify some numbers up at corporate. So that understanding within the commercial industry, also across marketing and sales and how they use it interchangeably, the CRM system and how marketing can benefit from the information provided from the sales, and then how sales could recognize those benefits. I think that was a big that was a step that was overlooked when implementing CRM in a couple of the places I implemented it. And it's just having everyone on board and everyone understanding how it could be beneficial and not asking too much and doing the implementation in stages
Okay,
versus
so
just all at once. Am I explaining myself well?
yeah, I think I understand correctly. So I think basically the balance between having just enough information, enough data to make the right decision was basically very important for the success of the organization. Too much data, wasting too much to put too much to taking too much time to put the data will inevitably make the commercial impact less powerful.
Absolutely. And also, another aspect of it is the CRM system sometimes was used just for data to create PowerPoints, which frustrates the sales reps more than anything, versus it being what it was supposed to be used for, which was to actually help the sales rep track the leads and get support from the office, the back office staff and marketing, and other areas of the commercial structure. So really learning how it can be used on all different levels, and then the interchangeably the inter connectivity between the different departments, I think was a growing path that a lot of that I believe is in some places still there, but nowadays is a hurdle that people understand how to get over.
I see. Great. So now, because we've been talking about before AI, let's talk about now. What has been for you the major improvement? And then is there any challenge that came along with it as well? Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, absolutely. So I will admit that my personally diving into AI has been within the past 12 to 36 months of really getting into it. I had a great individual on my team where he knew everything about AI. He was always coming into the office saying with ideas, hey, this is how we should use it, this is how we could use it, so forth and so on. And so that's what got me into, all right, how can I actually use this? Then it started off just making sure that the emails are correct, and calm or correct the way that it's done, and getting ideas on how to pitch things differently as well. But then with this individual on my team who was fantastic, we started going in deeper with AI. Now, what did we do there that actually made our lives better? One was our social media presence. So we had an individual who was in charge of, or part-time in charge of our social media. And that's because it did take a lot of time to create the post, put the picture with it and everything like that. There's AI out there now that will take your company's web page. So we'll read all that information. You also could mention the competitors, the industry that you're in. It takes all that and then it generates posts for you. Now, this was fantastic because it eliminated a lot of the workload. You still have to validate it. You still have to provide input to it to improve upon it. But what it did is create that consistency, which took away time from an individual. And
Yes.
now this individual who was doing that part-time was able to do this full-time.
Okay.
Now, one challenge with that, which we will talk about in a little bit, is with AI, it sometimes spits out what they call hallucinations, which means that it just grabs random information and that actually it's completely made up. They just grab it from here or there and potentially put in quotes that are misleading or incorrect. And so it's very important to actually be able to monitor what is actually going out when you use AI.
Yes.
Also what we've done is we are able to monitor LinkedIn and X through two different AI systems and monitor what our HCPs are saying about certain products, what our competitors are doing, and what our partners, hospitals, doing. as well, what is important to them. And then the AI will bring this all together and summarize all of it, once again, significantly reducing the amount of time that of market insights, but where we would have to pay somebody full time to actually do this. So that was one thing that we were doing, specifically leading up to product launches and things like that.
So just to understand, and for the people as well who listen to understand, HCPs, what does it mean?
Oh, sorry, healthcare practitioners.
Okay,
So,
great.
so doctors, specifically in the extremities orthopedic sector. So when we were coming out with a new product, or we launched the new product, we were able to monitor the clicks, the gangs, and see positive or negative what was being said about the product. And it was all grabbed within seconds from the AI system.
Okay, great. So from my understanding, the positive impact of AI so far has been improving productivity, having more insights in terms
Mhm.
of how you organize your different action. Um, am I getting this right?
Yes, that summarizes what I was saying perfectly. Yes,
Yeah,
productivity as well as efficiency. Yes.
exactly. So now let's just jump into the dark side of it. You talk about hallucination. Maybe you want to tell us more about this.
Yes. So when you're looking at pros and cons, a lot of the pros, as you mentioned, is efficiency. The cons, what comes up quite often when discussing AI and implementing it, is people are afraid that it will take over jobs. I personally don't believe that. What it does, it will allow people to do more. So it makes us more efficient. Just like the best analogy that I could come up with is before email and after email, or before mobiles or after mobiles. Um, it didn't fully take away people's jobs. What it did is it enhanced our ability to do more within a certain time frame and raised expectations. So when we talk about the future impact, we'll talk about that. But some big cons that I think we have to um, uh, because I do think there's going to be a societal change on how we work and the expectations
Okay.
that our customers expect from us, because they expect us to be able to tailor our pitches, what we're selling, our solutions more to their needs because we're using AI. So with that societal change, there's going to be some big cons, I believe. One is privacy leaks. Unless you have an internal AI system, which I believe Medtronic has an internal AI
Yes.
system. So they're able to keep all that internal. But if you, smaller companies, SMEs and so forth, are using AIs, then you have a serious concern of privacy leaks, because that information is potentially kept. Another one is regulatory. And I just found this out recently, that you need to be able to monitor the the software traceability when you use AI. It's actually in the MDR requirements. So when you have a pitch or a post and you have your AI create your PowerPoint or the advertisement for a specific product, you need to double check to make sure that everything it is quoting is accurate, which goes to the
Okay.
hallucinations that I mentioned before. And there have been companies that have been fined. And you could get fined up to $20,000 per month if
Okay.
you don't have that traceability,
Yes.
and the auditors find it. So it is something that is I think extremely important with those.
Okay. So hallucination, regulation,
Mhm.
limitation, basically based on expectation.
Well, what do you mean by that? Explain that further.
Um, it's like having the expectation that the AI can do everything in
Mm,
our place, but it's not really the case. There's
yeah,
always human input for anything that AI will basically do at this stage anyway.
absolutely. I believe so. And the privacy as well is a large one. One another pro though is I think it actually brings up a new job opportunity as well for
Okay.
somebody, for an individual who is actually an expert when it comes to AI and knows all the different AI bots or what have you and how to use them best. I think that's
Yes.
actually a new role and responsibilities that is being created from AI. So it's quite interesting.
Definitely. Definitely, in my previous episode, I had someone who's actually an expert in automation and AI, and
Mm,
who actually work with organization to solve problems. Usually, it's going to be by integration of bots, of agent
mhm.
bots, who's going to do some part of the business activity for improvement.
And I think that's going to be a very interesting area because as I was looking into because we had one uh, AI that looked up X, another one that looked up LinkedIn, and they weren't connecting. So we had two different things that then we still had to connect. There's not an actual software out there that I was able to find. There are suggestions that they offered, but there's not one AI that then connects all the different aspects and puts it together cohesively that I was able to find. I would love to know if anybody watching this does have one because it'd be great to use that.
Definitely. And then just another curious question. Do you think with AI, we're going to we're going to see more top billers, more top performer in terms of commercial activity?
Now that is interesting. I think early on you will see the quick adapters to AI, the sales reps, the sales organizations, the commercial organizations, the marketing departments that adapt AI quickly now will be seen as the top performers.
Okay.
But with my belief as AI is a societal change, that what the future does hold is that it basically raises the bar
Yeah.
for all of us. So you'll have an X period of time where you'll have your top performers, they will stand out, and that's really where commercial organizations over the next it's going really fast. I would say maybe 2, 3 years before it becomes the standard. They could gain decent amount of market share moving in this direction and making sure they're fast adopters to this and using it correctly, and their teams are using it correctly, and that they're integrating it with the CRM system. They're integrating it appropriately so that they can leverage this period in time where AI is relatively still new, at least in our industry, to when it becomes the standard, and then everyone is a top performer to some extent.
Yes, yes, and that's. I mean, I look forward to see that. But this is an exciting time. But I've seen a discussion with government discussion in Switzerland about regulation with AI. So this is something that is now being part of integration for most of the company. It's happening. So now it's just all about the rules to respect, to play with it. And that leads us to my last question. I would say we can obviously dig a bit longer on this one, but the future of work is here. It's coming, and it's gonna imply having to use AI. What's your input? Is it a brighter future? Is it a darker future? Is it something that we could have done differently?
Mm.
What's your input on this?
Full stop. I think it's a brighter future, at least from the perspective that I am coming from a commercial leader in medtech. I think it's absolutely a brighter future. Um, we will we need to adapt quickly, and we need to start understanding, and just like we have sales training programs, we need to start having those sales training programs need to include how to appropriately use AI. Likewise in marketing, for marketing trainings, we need to start having these AI trainings on how can the marketers and the sales best use AI to improve pitches, to identify potential customers, to follow up on sales as well. There's a plethora of ability, and it's how we adapt, how quickly we adapt to it, and how we use it, and how broad we use it in our organizations, which will make the difference, I think. But I absolutely think it will be uh, a very positive thing.
Okay. And then I'm curious because I have my concerns. I think
Oh,
AI
please.
might create also lazy people as well, because I'm thinking someone who will actually focus on understand how to use AI
Mhm.
might just give up on the rest, might just give up on the effort that needs to be put as a human.
That's a very good point. But this comes into my point earlier about a societal change where our expectations of what people can do and should do will become higher.
Yes,
So, yes, maybe during this adoption period of AI into the commercial organizations, some people could do that, but they'll very be quickly identified
yeah,
because expectations are going to significantly increase.
yes,
Um, yeah. So
yeah,
it's a very good point, but yeah,
of,
unfortunately, people are going to expect more from us.
of
There you
course, of
go.
course.
There's the con.
Yes, to tool we will have access to will definitely um, make sure that we can do more. So if we don't, we might be left behind. So yeah, this is something I think everyone needs to be aware of this. So this is good. Yeah. Tell me.
As you've been diving into this because your series and people you've been talking with, have you ever heard of or please elaborate, are there real genuine concerns about using AI or the adoption of AI?
I mean, it's gonna go. There's a balance on the topic in terms of if it's gonna be doing good or if it's gonna be doing bad. It's gonna be doing both. That's from the expert I've been exchanging with on the topic. This is what's coming the most. It's going to be good and bad. You just need to understand how to navigate it with it to be on the good side of it. But if you don't adapt, if you don't get curious about it and then about how to elevate to still move forward with it, you
Mm-hmm.
might be left behind. And this is where it might be dangerous. Before, obviously, all the jobs related to working physically is not really in danger, not yet, but AI
Mm-hmm.
will also get there soon at some point. But everything that comes to an intellectual level, some the most concern and the biggest suggestion is to basically be curious about several things, not just
Mm-hmm.
having one specialty. Before, and then since we went to school, all the teacher will say you need to specialize. You need to specialize in doing one things very well because this
Mm-hmm.
is where you can secure a future. Today, it's a new, yeah, it's a new slogan. It's be diversified and then be diversified. Be curious about everything you can touch, you can do, and do those things because this is where people will see you as an asset, someone who
Mm-hmm.
can multitask, who can have multiple hats, and then be useful and actually bring something, add value to the company or to every project.
Absolutely. And I think one a mentor of mine gave me some advice about a year ago about adopting AI is there's so many different ones out there that do a range of different things. And it's really important for on a personal level when you just work on your not about organizations, but as you're talking about adopting AI as an individual so that you can stand out for this period of time while the adoption is happening is experiment with all these different bots that are out there for LinkedIn, for X, for what have you, and see which one works best for you because they
Yes,
are very different. And then you could actually start integrating it into your daily life.
yes.
And it's really fascinating when you find certain ones that really that you understand how it works, and it integrates into your life well. It really does become a part of your life, but it does take trial and error and just experimenting with the different types of bots that are out there.
Yes, yes, definitely. Um, I think I have maybe one more question for you because you've been a commercial executive. You know the grand scam, the grand scale of the vision of a company and then what needs to be achieved. Considering the commercial department, and the direction the commercial department needs to go for bringing results, what do you think is the most efficient to use AI? Because obviously people now want to use AI for everything, and then to do everything with it. But what do you think for commercial purpose? What do you think is the best way to use AI?
For starting out, because prioritizing, right, of adoption, right, versus just going all in and then it being a mess and nobody enjoying it or it not adding value. Um, I I found the most value in two different aspects. One was following our customers online and identifying what is the trend, what they are talking about. I also specifically after launches, identifying how is our launch going, and getting that type of analytics. Then that feedback, first of all, just understanding that feedback, how it comes in, everything like that. Then moving it towards the marketing side, where then you take it and you start adapting you can start adapting in real time, in real life, your campaign to what's being said about your product. And then back to the sales side, using that information to actually understand customer needs and matching it. And all that could happen, or it happens, what before it
Yes.
would take a week, 2 weeks to put together this information, have a meeting about it. Now it happens within an hour. You could put it all together and have a pitch ready for the salesperson. But I think that
Yes.
that's the direction I would go, is first integrating it into obtaining data, then how to adapt that information, and then use it in the field for the sales team.
Great. Well, I'm sure this is great insight for whoever listen and who work in the same field as you in commercial. So thank you for all those insights about commercial activity with AI. This has been tremendous to take a bit of your time to hear more about how it's been for you. Is there anything you wanna say before we end this session?
No, I am really grateful to have the opportunity to chat with you, and I'm really excited to read some of the posts afterwards on what
Yes.
people disagree with, what they agree with, and their thoughts. I think they'll be very interesting.
Yes, of course. So I definitely invite to have everyone who's listening to share comments, share opinion, and then start a discussion on the topic. So this was the future of work, AI and Insight. Today, my guest was Frank Gioia. Did I say it right?
De Gioia, but yeah, it's
Enjoy it,
perfect.
enjoy. Thank you for taking the time, and then see you next time for the next episode.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate your
you.
time.
Goodbye.